sir. Yes, sir. Welcome out to another Spotlight Wednesdays. Spotlight Wednesdays, where we, put the spotlight on influential leaders within the community and doing something positive within the community. Man, we have a special guest here today. He goes by the name of Bryan Williams. For those who don't know, who Bryan Williams is Akron head football coach for the best school in the city, in the state. If I should say so myself, 1040. We'd like to welcome Bryan Williams. How you doing today?
Man, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay, I'm gonna scoot up to the mic a little bit. Scoot up to the mic. Yeah. Okay. Bryan Williams, man. For the people who don't know who Bryan Williams is, can you give them a brief description?
Born and raised from our great city, Akron. Went to Bookto, man. Graduated in 2005. Thereafter, transitioned over to a military college for 2 years. Came out with my AA degree. Chose the University of Akron to be my D1. Obviously, I was the football guy. Had fun with that. I'm not going to go down that line. 2 years with the University of Akron, good enough to land on a roster spot with the Cleveland Browns. Thereafter, that's when my real football career started. Went back to go forward. Played in the developmental indoor league for a couple years. Played in the AFL, the Arena Football League, for a couple of years with the Pittsburgh Power. Then ventured off into the Canadian Football League for 3.5 years with the Edmonton Eskimos. Thereafter, left the game, not how I wanted to, but it was time for my second act. Went into strength and conditioning as an elite pro trainer. Landed with St. Vincent St. Mary. Willie McGee called me at the time. It was roughly around 2014, I believe. Was there for 6 years, and now here I am. Going into my third season as the head football coach and athletic director for the Bookto Griffins.
That's crazy, man, because I never knew you did all. And I've been around my guy for at least a good 2 years right now, and he looks so young, but done so much within his young tenure. What made you, a lot of people, because I played sports for Bookto and everything like that, went to a couple schools. What made you want to start working with the kids first and get into coaching?
Man, good question, because it takes a lot, and I'm gonna say this because you have to understand one thing. You have to have the love for this profession. This profession is different. Before I even go into the dialogue on why I wanted to coach, then you got to love to change your life. So again, going through my process, looking at how we played, and we didn't have too many mentors. Our early years of playing ball to get us to where we need to go. Now I'm looking at that and built off of that, and I'm pouring into these guys, and our coaches are pouring into these guys to make sure they understand what we didn't have, we're trying to give you, and move forward from there.
Being an all-black school, predominantly, I'm not going to say all-black, predominantly all-black school, how does it, how hard is it to face these top-notch schools like a St. Ignatius, or get them on the schedule when you're coming from an inner-city school? To get kind of like Catholic schools or something on the schedule, and the big powerhouses to go to state or or two type of divisions that you're in.
Man, they want to play us. We try to find the other teams, to play us. To be honest with you, we're here to tell the truth, but those guys want to play us because the mantra for a long time, and this before our years of playing, because we were known as the dominant force at 1040, and obviously everything changed. You have to rebuild. So those teams were actually looking out for us and hitting us up and asking us, hey, do we want what is called a home and home? You will go to their stadium, their place for a year, then they come back with the return to come to your place, and they'll pay you. So and it's a healthy amount that they pay you to help out with the program, basically. So those teams, man, they love to play us at any time. It's just, man, whoever that coach is at the time, how would you look at this far as, man, are we going to go ahead and play this team, or are we going to play a team that's a lateral movement to us? But we always want to play the best, though. You know that.
Right. And having a promising season last year, the predominant season, what was your record last year?
We were 8-5 last year.
Okay.
8-4.
I think y'all took city. I know it for sure.
Yeah.
Did y'all go state last year?
No, we went to. We were semi-finalists.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you build onto that coming into a new season?
Man, to be honest with you, and I have to go back to how we got there because we started 0-4, the start of the season, man, and everybody read us off. Like let's call a spade a spade. It was a lot that we implemented, after week 4, and there's a lot that we installed in the guys to make them understand. Like, man, now it's on you. We're putting out the information, we're putting out the concepts, we're putting out the philosophy, we laying down the foundation. Now it's on you guys to turn this around. So when that happened, it was the Benny game. You were actually there DJing for us. So once that game, after that game, and I'll never forget it because it was my birthday. It was September 17th. We kind of like took off. We understood like what winning looks like, what brotherhood looks like, what building camaraderie and chemistry looks like, and now to answer your question, to build off of that momentum, you do the same thing. In this league, you have to be repetitive, man, with our kids, man. A lot of our kids, man, are diagram kids. They really don't understand what it looks like when you're trying to tell them what to do, man. You got to put a lot of things in place, and I call it the 3 levels of coaching. You show it in a diagram, you show it on film, then you actually show them on the field what you're trying to do with your young man. So again, man, just being very repetitive and repeating these process over and over to make them understand this is what we need to do to win games.
A lot of athletes graduated, went on to their perspective of colleges or whatever they're going to do in life. How do you replace some of the positions that that some of your star players have already graduated or went on to higher ranking?
Man, next guy up mentality. These guys sat behind some guys that were all Ohio. Every single guy that was on our D-line last year was all Ohio. We had one guy that was the district player of the year. So replacing that, you can't replace that. All you can do is rebuild off that. And the guys that we have, make sure that they know, like, hey, man, y'all fitting some shoes that a lot of the people didn't look at first, but now they seen at the end of the season what these guys can possibly do. So now it's your turn. What you're going to do. Yeah,
definitely. Sports play a big part in mental health and building character in a student or in a athlete. How does your program implement, as far as grades? Because grades is one of the most important things that student athletes have to get just to maintain the position or even play on the field. How do you keep your team focused on their grades when they're basically gaining success in the sports side of the ball?
That should be your motivation to keep your grades up. I mean, you were a student athlete for a reason. Student in front of the athlete. You got 2 jobs. First job, student. Second job, athlete. So that comes hand to hand. And if you don't understand that, you just can't play. And again, that's where our philosophy come in at, because we don't coach the game of football. We coach life. And when you understand these life traits, then the football part becomes easier, right?
Right.
So again, academics is a part of that, because I don't care if you don't go after your 4 years, you still can be an entrepreneur. You still can learn the trade. You still can run your own business. It could be multiple things that you can do outside of football, because once the air lead the ball, you got to figure out what your second act going to be anyway. So academics is key, and APS and where the requirement at right now, we can work on it. But for the most part, man, guys are not getting that GPA. For us, you have to definitely have a 2.4 or higher to be in our program.
Now, I'm glad you even brought that up, because I was going to touch on that, but I know we can have a long conversation about this. Akron Public Schools GPA is what, 1 point something now?
1.4.
Terrible. Now, I'm definitely on it. Even it's kind of insulting to me. You know what I mean? Because like you said, when us growing up, you got to maintain that 2.5 or better.
Yep.
You meant just to play the sports. You know what I mean? How does that? And it's crazy because some people still can't maintain a 1.5, and that's another story. But how does being this how you say centerpiece of Akron, Ohio, as a institution plays a part in them gaining grades, getting it or losing focus of what their main goal is? How does that play a part?
Man, it plays a huge part, because now you're not only dealing with the GPA. That's the problem. You're dealing with everything the kid is going through in their environment. So you got the home problem, you got their problem, then you got the GPA problem. So you got all these problems, man. So again, we have to meet it in the middle because you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. So now we got to find this happy medium with understanding and building this kid up from the home all the way to the classroom. So it takes a lot, but it takes a strong individual. That's why you got to put guys like myself, yourself, my coaches, and the rest of the community, people that looks to build these kids up to make sure they are guided the right way.
Right. New season is upon us right now. Last year you had the Cleveland Browns come down and put a stamp on the field. You know what I mean? Put a stamp on the stage. How was that? How was that for you?
Man, mind blowing. Man, what can you say? You know,
That's how I see it.
Yeah, when the NFL team come and sponsors a brand new synthetic turf field for you. I mean, you can't do nothing but applaud them, thank them for their efforts, thank APS for their efforts to getting this thing done, and kind of build off of that though. Don't be content. You know, all right. We have a field that can attract a lot of young people or everybody in our community. Now let's continue to build off that momentum and start getting us, you know, our youth sports complexes that will be huge for all of us in APS and in our middle school rankings.
Mm-hmm. And like I was saying, new season, man, which means new opponents, new players, and everything. Do you already got your schedules for this year already?
We do. We have our schedule.
Oh man. So me being speaker leakers, we're gonna get a sneak peek who's your first 4 games?
It's 5. We have North Canton the first game. That will be away. We have Warren Harding at home. We have Lake Catholic at home. We will have Bedford now at their place, and we have Cleveland Benedictine at their place. Well, it will be at Euclid because they getting their stadium revamped.
Okay. So do you choose the schedule?
I do.
Okay, so they give you options of who you want to play and everything like that.
No, this system is called HSAD, and the statement I made about the home and home.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, you got a 2-year contract with most of these teams, so you hold them for those 2 years. The only new team that's on there is Bedford because we had a previous team that dipped out on us, so we had to pick up Bedford for another home and home.
Okay, and coaching staff. I know there's new coaches on the staff, right, this year, or is it the same coaches?
Just got one new coach, Coach Mikey. Young guy, young fiery guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to help with Coach Tone Reynolds with assisting with the linebackers. Went to Bookto. Majority of the guys that's on the staff are from the Bookto family tree. So no one new this year, man. Staying with the same guys. When you make it to the semifinals, man, you don't really let nobody go. So
right.
We keeping the same crop that we had the last 2 years.
What's your motivational speech this year? First game, you're in the locker room. What's your motivational speech?
Just be ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a good one because again, man, everything that you go through your life as an individual, as a player, as a coach, no one sees it but really you. Mm-hmm. So it's going to tap into that, man. I'm really going to touch some hearts with this speech, man, because again, man, with our Griffin family, they want everything in the air fryer, you know. So again, man, if you really look at it, man, I'm going into my 3rd season. It's really 2 years, but it's 3 years counting how our seasons fall
right.
Into place. So again, everything that we have already accomplished in year 2. Again, man, I don't want to give you too much,
mm-hmm.
but we're going to tap into that and make sure it's a good one, man, and hopefully come out victorious versus North Canton.
Starting quarterback?
Stevie Diamond.
Stephen Diamond?
Yeah.
Okay. Starting receivers?
Dakota Taylor. We got a new addition, Jason Anderson over from St. Vincent St. Mary. We have another new addition, Artrell Wallace coming over from Woodridge. Who I'm missing, man? Don't miss nobody. And Meach Coates that's going to play the Y for us. So you're looking at the X, the Y, the H, and the Z. Those guys going to hold it down for us. And we got a ton of guys that's going to sub in and make plays for us too. Damian Johnson, Zaire Lewis, because these guys start on the defensive end. So when I told you, man, the handful of seniors that we have, man, we got about 20, 25 seniors that's coming back, man. So again, man, we putting them on their shoulders.
That's good right there. You were the successor to Ricky Powers, am I correct?
I was. Yeah.
Okay. How did they even come and give you this position? You know what I mean? Because your style of coaching and his style of coaching is a lot different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I actually did I play with Ricky? I think I did play with Ricky. I think I did play with Ricky back then. Okay. You know what I mean? Did I play with Ricky? Couldn't remember. Either way, though, well, you know, I played sports all my years at Booker too.
Right.
What was your approach? Excuse me, not before we even get into that. What was your how I say this? What was your how did you feel when they offered you the position? First off,
crazy story, man. Ricky called me.
Yeah.
He was, you know, and you know, he called me and he was actually downtown turning his walking papers in. And he was saying, if I want anybody to take over this job, I want it to be you. Because I was like, you know, me and Rick talk all the time,
right.
Man. That's my guy, man. He gave me my first opportunity when I was done playing professional football, and I was kind of like a team liaison, you know, just filling it out on how it's going to look before I found my niche. And I jumped into the strength and conditioning world, and that's when I signed on with St. Vincent. But I give Coach Rick all the credit.
Actually, I didn't play with Rick. He older than me.
Yeah.
I had to think about that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Garnett.
Oh, okay.
That went to Michigan State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, he hit me up and was like, hey, man, if anybody, should have it, it should be you.
Mm-hmm.
But going through that whole process, man, I ain't never been that nervous in my life.
Right.
You know, you would think, man, you coming back to your alma mater, man, it should be easy. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Because
not with Bookto.
No, not with Bookto at all.
That's like playing in New York, playing on a New York team.
Yeah,
you better come in with it.
Yeah, you got to come with it, man. And that's what I did, man. The interview process, I made sure that I hit everything, you know, on the spot. And, you know, obviously, man, they fell in love with it. And I'm here talking with you.
Was you a coach before was you coaching somewhere before?
Yeah, so I was at St. Vincent St. Mary as the strength and conditioning coach and the running back coach. So I jumped into the running back coach the last 2 years that I was there at St. Vincent St. Mary.
Okay.
So, and it was kind of like one of those things where they get the experience because, again, talking about Willie, another guy, man, that we're close in age, but, man, he's a mentor to me as well, man. Right. Just watching him, you know, hold down the fort as the athletic director at St. Vincent St. Mary, man, it's a totally different world. But he talked to me about, hey, man, having experience, understanding what you're doing as a coach first, then the doors will open up for you as you move forward in your career, your coaching career. So it was kind of like, all right, let me jump into coaching, have 2 years under my belt so I can have the experience. And once they look at my resume, they were like, all right, man, he's been somewhere before, so let's give him an opportunity.
Right.
And kind of like move from there.
Right, because I know being a head coach is way different than being just a defensive coach or assistant coach or anything like that. The amount of pressure and the amount of things that you have to handle through a daily basis as opposed to just being a quarterback coach. You know what I mean? I know it's mind-boggling. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand the pressure. And like you said, the pressure from being from 1040 and have to control a 1040 team. Oh, man, you know what I mean? And then with the success that y'all had slightly last year and the basketball team,
Man,
the success, the expectations this year is off the chain. It's off the roof. Man. You know what I mean? It's out. It's like either win or go home type almost. You know what I mean? How do you live up to that?
You live up to it. You make it happen.
Great answer.
You do all the necessary things with creating a fine line with people. Because, man, I'm fly on the wall guy. Man, I see all the social media or, you know, somebody is sending it to me. And I don't buy into it. I don't take the bait and say anything. Man, we just go out there and show results.
Right.
That's what it's about. You know, last year it was the same thing. Again, we went 0-4, like I mentioned. Then after that, we win against Benny. Then we go into the city, and, you know, we go 5-0. Yeah, so then it was like, oh, okay, we see you now, but that's our fans, man. So again, man, you show up and you show results, man. Ain't too much talking. Is putting the work in and letting everybody know, man. We hear what y'all saying, so we gonna do what we need to do to make sure that y'all still come around.
If there's anything that you can take that you know now that you wish you would have knew back then, what would it be?
Oh man, all the mentors, the caseworkers, the social workers, the uncles, the dads, all the people that these young men and women have now to guide them to where they need to go. I wish I would have had that when I was younger. I wouldn't be talking to you right now, but
Right.
I'd probably be going into my 13th, 14th season in the NFL.
Man, listen, I didn't even know you played that, but wow,
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
Is there if there's anything that you want to give that you can give tell a student athlete that they need to know coming into this season, what would it be?
Any student athlete,
Yeah.
man, don't forget who you are. You can lose yourself inside of this generation because we live in the see me generation. Again, and it can tear you down just like it can build you up. Social media is a gift and a curse. Understand what you're putting on there, because when you typing on that screen, it could be a cell phone, it could be an iPad, it could be a computer. It doesn't matter. That screen says nothing back to you. So understand what the content that you're putting out there and represent you. You know, because at the end of the day, in the logo that you represent, you know, that can be whatever logo. But remember who you are, represent your logo well, and continue to build off of who you are and have fun with it.
City Series, first game. Who is it?
Dog it. I think it's Elliott, I believe, if I'm mistaken. Yeah,
Scratch
Elliott.
them. Second game.
Garfield.
Yeah, we want to crush them.
Yeah.
Next game.
That team.
Oh, from the other
around
side.
the way.
From
Yeah,
the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's the game. That's gonna be the game right
Yeah,
there, man. We
yeah.
can't wait to get those people in our
Yeah,
backyard, man. I just want to say, man, we appreciate everything that you do within the community because you're a leader not only on the field but off the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You a stand-up guy. Every time I see you, you don't have you don't have any drama falling. You sort of like LeBron, no drama have to worry about. Oh, Bryan Williams going to be in the news or something like that. You know what I mean? So we definitely appreciate mentoring the kids, first off, because it's crazy, man. I say this because I'm a mental health case person now, but mental health is probably the number one problem in the community. You know what I mean? A lot of people stressed out. A lot of people drug oriented. I say it like that. You know what I mean? In which they try to supplement for their mental health. You know what I mean? Being able to be a mentor and a big brother, uncle, coach, dad, anybody to these kids is a big thing within the community where the government, to me, tried to take the man out the picture of the family. And I say over the last couple of years, man, we see a lot of that. The men are coming back into their family lives, making a big difference in the family and how that particular child moves. So anything that you can do within the community to help these children, man, everyone thanks you and are blessed to have you as a head coach, as a mentor, as a person of 1040. You know what I mean? Because all day Akron is 1040. I don't care about the other schools. Either way, you know what I mean? But we appreciate you, man. We thank you for coming down. Let the people know where they can find you at.
Man, you can find me on Twitter.
Can't find them on Facebook.
Man, but my Twitter handle, man, is bwill 24. You can find me on Instagram, man. Just type my name in, man. All these handles, man. Man, it should pop straight up.
It's a lot of Bryan Williams.
I know,
you got to
man,
put Coach in front of one of
right,
these.
yeah, I think the one is Coach B. Will, though, on Instagram. But again, man, like I say, you guys just type that in. I be on there sporadically. I use it now on my personal Instagram and Twitter, man, for our program. You know, we have our own Twitter handle, Book to Football on there. It's on Facebook as well and Instagram. But again, man, if you're searching for me, just throw in Coach B. Will. It should pop straight up.
Come down and make sure y'all support that 1040 building, that 1040 class, that 1040 tradition. Because it is a tradition when you go to 1040. Yeah, it's not too many traditions that's like 1040 within our community or within our city. So make sure y'all come down and support, man. Once again, I'd like to say, man, we do appreciate you for coming on the platform. This is Spotlight Wednesdays, where we put the spotlight on influential leaders within the community. I'm your man, DJ Lalo, a.k.a. Lalo the Don, a.k.a. Aaron Bridges when I'm at work. But, we know exactly where to find us, man. We appreciate y'all. We out of here. Till next time, man. Oh, before we get out, first game date.
August 18th.
August
North
18th.
Canton Hoover.
Right around the corner, y'all. Football is back. You ready for the new season, man?
Yes, sir.
Let's get it in. Speaker Leaguers, we out of here. You know exactly what it is. DJ Lalo, let's go.